it. Marco Polo did not write his story in comfort. He spoke it from a prison cell. Stone walls closed around him. Iron chains scraped the floor. Outside, the world he had crossed no longer cared whether he lived or died. So he spoke to a man who wrote romances, not history. A storyteller who turned memory into legend. Every word passed through fear, pride, and fading breath. Truth mixed with awe, reality softened by survival. Not because Marco wanted to laboob, because some experiences can only be felt, not recorded. The world would later accuse the book of exaggeration, but they never smelled the damp prison air. Never heard a man relive danger just to stay alive one more night. 17 years, not a journeyer disappearance. Years long enough for faces to fade, languages to change, and home to become a memory that no longer felt real. Marco didn't visit Asia. He vanished into it. While Europe aged slowly behind stone walls, he lived among empires that moved like storms. Every year away stretched the distance between who he was and who he would become. You don't spend 17 years crossing danger without leaving pieces of yourself buried along the road. Kublai Khan did not trust easily. He ruled through fear, intelligence, and silence. Yet he trusted Marco Polo, not as a guest, but as a tool of power. He sent him where truth was dangerous, across provinces where loyalty was thin and rebellion whispered. Marco learned to watch without reacting, to listen without judging, to survive politics sharper than any blade. Trust at that level came with a warning. Feyland, you vanish. A stranger ruling a Chinese city. Think about that. A foreign name, foreign blood. A man raised on Mediterranean stone, suddenly enforcing law in a land that owed him nothing. Every decision carried risk. One mistake could end in revolt, execution, or quiet erasure. Power didn't protect him. It exposed him, and yet he survived. Marco described money with no weight, no gold, no silver, just paper. Europe laughed, kings scoffed. Merchants refused to believe power could exist without metal. But Marco had seen empires run on trust enforced by fear. He had seen counterfeiters executed. He had seen governments control value itself. The future sounded impossible till it wasn't. He spoke of black stones pulled from the earth, stones that burned, coal. To Europeans, it sounded like madness. Fire came from wood always had, but Marco had seen cities powered by earth itself. He had seen energy pulled from the ground long before Europe was ready to understand it. Progress often arrives disguised as nonsense. They called him a liar. Not because he was wrong, but because the truth threatened everything they believed. His world was too large, too advanced, too uncomfortable. So they mocked it, renamed it, shrunk it. History would later uncover ruins, systems, and cities, proving Marco was closer to truth than his critics ever were. He didn't mention the Great Wall. He didn't describe foot binding, and doubt grew. What people forget is this: travelers don't record everything. They record what shocked them, what mattered, What threatened their survival? Absence does not equal deception. Sometimes it means the danger was elsewhere. Centuries later, another man read Marco's words. Christopher Columbus. He carried the book like scripture, scribbled in its margins, believed Asia waited just beyond the horizon. Marco's memories pushed ships into unknown waters. One man's survival story rewrote the fate of continents. On his deathbed, weak and fading, they demanded confession, admit the lies, shrink the world back into safety. Marco refused. "I did not tell half of what I saw, Children shout his name across swimming pools. Marco Polo, a joke, a myth stripped of blood and fear. His name survived, but the danger behind it dissolved into play. History often remembers the sound and forgets the cost. Marco Polo didn't just travel. He broke Europe's illusion that it was the center of existence. He proved the world was older, larger, and more advanced than anyone dared admit, and that knowledge once seen cannot be unseen.